So the problem in Western societies these days is that everything is viewed through the prism of your individual experiences. There is no collective. There is no objective reality, any universal definition for anything. And when you see people trying to debate on controversial issues, you never get any consensus or agreement because everything is subjective. There is no objective. So the West is so geared towards individualism that they've lost on the collective. There is no collective. Now, I understand the need for your individual rights and your individual destiny, but it can't necessarily come at the expense of the collective. So there's no community, there's no society in the West anymore. It's like the flavor of the day. Whatever is fashionable today is going to be the winning argument. So, they're postmodern, theories. They're the ones that are being highlighted and the ones that are being taught in academia and in society. So obviously that's the flavor of the day today. But before that, it used to be, a few decades ago or centuries ago, it used to be a little bit more conservative viewpoint, and then that's so everything that's happening today is kind of like a reaction to whatever happened in the past. Um, it doesn't mean that everything that happened in the past was wrong. There were a few practices, there were a few things, there were many things that were wrong, but not everything was wrong. But there's this revisionism, there's this quest to undo and revise everything that's happened in the past. And it's kind of taken away the sense of any community, the sense of any history, and it's just created a lot of confusion. So I think that there needs to be objective data, there needs to be analysis. Not everything can be, just because of my personal experiences, anecdotal experiences. You can't just say, obviously, it's important to hear people's individualistic or personal experiences. It's important to hear them. But when you're formulating a study, when you're coming up with an analysis or a diagnosis, or when you're trying to put in laws or reforms, they need to be done on data and objective scientific evidence. Um, that's not to say that you dismiss people's anecdotal or personal experiences. It's just that you have to place everything in their levels of importance. And what I see today is everything is based on subjectivity. There's no objectivity. There's just no universal definition for anything. And when you use a lot of vague terms and everything, without any definitions, agreed upon definitions, or when you refuse to accept data, or when you refuse to accept any objectivity, that's when you know that there is an unfair debate going on. When we rely on free speech, everyone has a right to say whatever they want, but they should provide evidence. They shouldn't use hurtful, hateful comments, bigoted comments without any evidence. I mean, that's not free speech to me. Free speech is an exchange of open ideas that is geared towards bettering society and having more viewpoints out. So in the age of social media, it's like everyone has their own realities, everyone has their own truths. There is no universal truth. So it's so important to establish what a universal truth is. If there is a thing called universal truth, or if everything's just relative. If everything's relative, then, what is the point of having anything? What is the point of having any reform? What's the point of having a society? If everything is individualistic, relative, then why do we live together in a society as a collective? Why is there a need for countries, for borders, for any kind of society? We should just be on our own, and there should be no society. I mean, that's how I see it. So, I mean, if you want to get rid of the collective, which is what is happening in the West today, then you're going to find that people aren't going to feel connected to each other. They're not going to have any bonds. They're not going to have any relationships. There's not going to be any connections. And it's going to result in the fracturing of the society, which is what is exactly that's happening in the West today. There is no sense of community, no bonds between people. Everyone's feeling on their own. Everyone has their own experiences. There is no identity. There is no real realities, no truths, nothing like that. Everyone has their own personal opinions, and it's just amplified by social media because everyone just thinks that everything's about them. So when you think that the world revolves around you and everything's about you, and it actually automatically means that the other person and their viewpoints are less important than yours. So it actually results in people, not listening to other people and just speaking their own truths and realities. So it's such a big issue that I just wanted to talk about it, and it just frustrates me, and I've been wanting to talk about these things for so long, but I didn't have the right words. I just didn't know what to say. But it's a huge issue, and I would like to hear your opinion on it. Thanks. Bye.